How you doing, everyone? Spade here. Oh man, it's been a moment since my last video, huh? So much has happened. I wanted to thank you guys, first of all, for surpassing 100 subscribers. That is awesome. Thank you so much. Oh my god. Oh, wow. The people who also follow me on Instagram will know that during the month of January, I took part in a little challenge called Whimsuary. It's your typical prompt challenge, but the way it was structured was what actually convinced me to try it. 12 prompts in total, divided by seasons. We could choose to do all 12 or just pick the ones we like the most, and I picked 4, one for each season. Whoops, sorry. As much as I wanted to do all 12, my drawing hand decided to get tendinitis right at the start of January, and I had to resize the challenge to fit my limits. Because, remember, putting anything before your physical health is a big no-no. We love ourselves here. However, since I wasn't going to do all 12 prompts, I wanted to add my own twist to the challenge. I tasked myself with also making a full character design for each prompt. But enough with the premise. Let's get on with it. The prompt I chose for the first week was Owl Ballet. I like owls. They're hands down my favorite kinds of bird. And specifically, my all-time favorite owl is the barn owl. I started by doing a little concept design. I knew I wanted to make a male ballet dancer based on a barn owl. I tried doing like a Afro owl version for the face, but furries are not my expertise. Furries? Featheries? Can anyone in the community tell me what you call avian fursonas? Thanks. I thought I had my boy figured out, but just as I was starting to draw his clothes, inspiration struck. Oh my god, harpy time! And so we got Blanc. I imagined him as a little self-centered, very graceful barn owl who above all loves dancing. When making his illustration, I really wanted it to really scream winter. We got snow, a frozen lake, pine trees. I'm still learning to do backgrounds, but I'm pretty happy with how this came out. And of course, Blanc needed to look like he was both dancing and flying. Conveying that was very important to me, so I worked really hard on the pose and on the dynamics. It took a while to nail it, took a lot of fixing, but we got there, and that's what matters. In addition, of course, it had to be nighttime, since he's an owl, and owls are, well, nocturnal. I had a blast lighting this piece. Guys, our tip, never underestimate the power of ambient lighting. It can seriously elevate any drawing you do. It's honestly become my favorite part of coloring lately. Once I have my volumes and everything down, I'm like, oh yes, now comes the fun part. So here is the result. I am honestly pretty happy with it, considering my hand at that point was starting to die and feel sore, but we did it, that's what matters. On to the next week! Week 2 is unfortunately where my hand felt the absolute worst. I almost could not hold a pencil in my hand, and I had to take a small break from drawing in general, and it sucked and it made me kind of depressed, but it was necessary. And in the end, I did get my character design down pretty well. The prompt I chose is Bearing Bloom, and I thought it was a really cute prompt for springtime, especially because it gave me a chance to do some like body type variety, and it always makes me really happy when I get to do that. My subject was of course going to be a bear. I, as previously stated, suck at drawing furries, but that didn't stop me. I just made a humanoid bear guy with like a human face but bear ears, the classic. I almost made a bear centaur, but then I was like, no, it's kind of overkill, let's not do that, it's too complicated, I'm going to complicate my life. So that idea was scrapped, but it still lives in my heart, and maybe I'll pick it up again one day, who knows. A bit of finalizing later, and we got our next character, Bruno. He's just your local gardener. He's sweet, he's clumsy, but we love him anyway. He just woke up from his winter sleep, and now he is so ready to get back to his flowers, and I had to add bees in his portrait piece because you can't have a bear without bees, in my opinion at least. And the finished result is, I think it's adorable. I struggled with the background because it wouldn't be me if I didn't struggle in the background, but I'm really happy with the atmosphere. It really does scream spring, and that was my goal, so I'm happy. During week 3, my hand was definitely feeling much better, so I was motivated to start right away on the third prompt, which for me was whale song. I already knew what I wanted to make for this prompt, and that is a mermaid. Specifically a mermaid based on the bowhead whale, because, I don't know, I just looked at it when I was trying to figure out what whale I wanted to base her on, and I saw the pretty spots that the animal had on its body, and I was like, ooh yes. This gives me the chance to make a character with vitiligo, which I always wanted to do. Let's do it. Let's work with this. Other than that, her design is pretty simple. I decided to give her the classic mermaid outfit and also some extra jewels to make her look expensive. Honestly, she was the character that I conceptualized the fastest because I already knew what I wanted her to be, and that is a deep sea diva and a singer. So everyone, welcome Lydia. She may look intimidating, but I swear she is the sweetest mermaid you will ever meet. And if oceans had social media, you bet she would be there every day posting her song covers. Unfortunately, deep sea internet is not something that we have, so her audience is mostly other sea creatures, which I've made sure to include in this piece. I'm very proud of this end result, especially for the colors. I think it really sells the idea of a underwater summer, especially with my final decision to shift the color of the water from light blue to some cyan, aqua green kind of deal. And yeah, I just really like the colors. And finally, we move on to the last week. Week 4 had my favorite prompt of all, moths in the moonlight. Moths are my favorite bug, so I was super excited to make this design. I knew I wanted her to be a short lady, and also, since it was supposed to be a fall themed piece, I decided to pick a spooky moth, and of course the spookiest moth of all is the death's head hawk moth, because of the skull that they have on the back, but they're also kind of cute because they're squeaky moths, I don't know. Anyway, I gave her an adorable bug face and also an extra set of arms because she's a bug. But the most fun I've had for her design was incorporating the skull that this kind of moth has on their back onto her coat. I put it as a centerpiece and made space for her wingies to come out, and I don't know, I love it, and honestly, I'd 100% wear this coat in real life, just saying. Some fine-tuning later, and we got Farah. Farah is honestly just a creature. She doesn't have a job, she just lurks in the shadows, she loves to walk outside in the moonlight and explore the woods, and probably terrorize passerbys with her moth appearance. She really does bring the mischief in this whole set of characters, and I'm really in love with her, honestly. She's probably my favorite of this bunch. The lighting and colors in this piece are probably my favorite thing, because I really did manage to make a nighttime, fall-themed picture, I feel like. Personally, this is my favorite illustration of the bunch. I don't know why, it's just the vibe, and also I'm like a fall fan. So I'm probably biased, let's be honest, but I don't know, there's just something about the angle and everything that I really, really like about this picture. Can I be proud of my own art for once? Can I? And with this, we conclude Whimswary 2025. I would have loved to make an illustration for each prompt, but unfortunately, both because of my tendinitis and other stuff that happened during January, it really would have been impossible for me to do so. I'm also still a pretty slow artist, so there's that. I really need to speed myself up. One day, I will manage a 30-day illustration challenge or some crazy stuff like that, but this is not my year. And I guess that this is also a reminder for all the people who sometimes try these challenges and can't manage to do every single prompt, to not feel bad if you can't for whatever reason, because that doesn't mean you're a bad artist. These challenges are made mostly to challenge your creativity and just to have fun. So I don't think we should put too much importance on how much we manage to do, but on the quality of what we manage to do. Does that make sense? Or am I just coping? That's for you to decide. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, I'd love to know which of my illustrations was your favorite for this challenge. And also, if you're new here, please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye!